Sean, well, he's lowered his personal best this season to 13.26. Modest, I think, in this company, but strange things can happen in the hurdles. Andrew Riley, the Jamaican champion, very talented flat sprinter as well. 10.02 for the 100, but concentrating now on the hurdles. There is David Oliver, the formidable figure of Oliver, outstanding in 2010, went unbeaten, 19 races, not an Olympic or World Championship year. Can this be his time? And listen to the noise for Sergei Shebenkov. Well, he was impressive, beat Oliver in winning his semi-final, the European champion. Thomas Martino-Lagarde, the elder of the Martino-Lagarde brothers. Pascal went out in the first round. Thomas second in both his first round and his semi-final. Not quick times, though. And there is the defending world champion, which I didn't know he'd won immediately in Daegu. Found out after a few minutes. Deron Robles disqualified for clashing with Liu Zhang. And Aries Merritt, injured earlier this season. What a start, what a dreadful start he had in the semi-final. Had to graft so hard to get back into third place. The Olympic champion, the world record holder, and the eldest, perhaps the weakest of the Americans, despite being the US champion, Ryan Wilson. 13.20 and coming through to the final. The noise will grow again. Sharman 4th and 5th at the last two World Championships. One place higher to get a medal. Everyone psychs himself up in different ways. A plea for quiet. Near silence. In Moscow, save a few last encouraging words. Sharman, Riley, Oliver, Shebenkov, Martino-Lagarde, Richardson, Merritt, Wilson. 110 metres, 10 barriers between one of these men and the gold medal. The title of world champion, the final of the men's 110 metres hurdles. Merritt away better this time, but Oliver quickest of all, and he's first to rise alongside him. Andrew Riley going well for Jamaica. Richardson and Merritt trying to get there, but it's Oliver powering his way down over the barriers. Oliver, as the Jamaican stumbles, Oliver comes through to take it. Second place, Ryan Wilson, but David Oliver finally gets his hands on World Championship gold. An emphatic, overpowering victory for this powerful American. It was not Merritt, it was not Jason Richardson, the defending champion. It was David Oliver who becomes champion of the world.
A good solid performance there from David Oliver. He was showing great form coming into these championships. Through the rounds, he was going to be the man we were all watching. His time gets rounded down to 13 seconds flat. A world lead, and of course a gold medal that he's been really crying out for. Super talented athlete, and at long last gets the world record he deserves. Really strung out the blocks this time, David Oliver, compared to his semi-final. When he really struggled out, he just took his time, but now it was a pure, powerful, clean demonstration of high hurdling. Shebenkov, who put him away in the semi-final, was really just left, drifting away and really struggling to see if he could get into the medals. But look at Ryan Wilson.
Well, you can hear the roar.
Second.
Just as we watch the replay that Shebenkov has been confirmed in third place. That's why the Russians are cheering. And watch this again.
There's a bit of a mistake by Jason Richardson when it really matters, going into that final barrier. And Shebenkov, even though he was dragging some hurdles down, just snuck past the former world champion, staggered into the line, you can see, to take a bronze medal. And do you know what? I think Will Sharman ends up in 5th place with a time of 13.30 seconds. But there is the champion of the world, David Oliver. Wonderful.
Yes, the winner, the emphatic winner, David Oliver Shebenkov, spoiling the American 1, 2 and 3 by getting in there. And again, a word for Will Sharman, because he's finished 4th, 5th and 5th again at World Championships, which is no mean feat.
It's a wonderful thing to see him back, because you remember he's had a torrid couple of years in between those World Championship successes. But this is exactly what Will is all about. He can really hold his form together. He's usually nice and clean all the way down the trim. He keeps his eyes focused. He's not stressing himself in any way. He sees all the action going on around him, but he's holding it all together. And you know, I wish he just could have a couple of consistent winters behind him, because I'm thinking he could get right up into the world lead. Great run, Will Sharman. I know you'd be disappointed, but it was a good performance.
So there we are, Aries Merritt. We thought he might add this title to his Olympic title, but down in 6th. Will Sharman getting ahead of him. Oliver, though, the champion. Wilson silver. Shebenkov in bronze. And, well, we can hear from Kristina Hourigu now, who's...
To Fraser Price, Jetta the defending champion. Is it just between these two? Is it just about Fraser Price? Can anyone disturb her rhythm, which has been beautiful to watch? English Gardner will be in lane 1, Alex Anderson in 2, the 2 Americans on the far side. Fraser Price of Jamaica in 4, Carmelita Jetta in 5, Ohure in 6, Okakbare, Stewart and Freeman. This is English Gardner. Her semis was the best race so far. After that, she said the lion is out of the cage. Well, it was put back in its cage a little, wasn't it, in the semi-finals? Still raging, though. Alex Anderson ran 10.91 in the semi-final and the final of the American trials to make it to these World Championships. Her best performance so far, needs to be as good as that here to get a medal. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, 2 Olympic gold medals, 1 world title at the 100 meters. Can it be her 4th gold medal on the global stage? Carmelita Jetta in 2011 came out on top. This is her 4th World Championship final in the 100 meters. She's been 3rd and 1st. Muriel Ohure could be the surprise package here. Ran that 10.91 a couple of days after the Paris Diamond League in a small meeting in France. Okakbare already has a medal in her pocket, silver medal in the long jump. If she gets a good start, and that is a big if, she's strong enough to come through for a medal. Karen Stewart looked impressive. Again, her 4th World Championship 100-meter final. Was 5th last time round in Daegu. Olympic silver medalist from 2008. Another talent from Lake Wales in Florida, USA, Octavius Freeman, 21 years of age. So 4 Americans, 2 Jamaicans, Ivory Coast and Nigeria taking them on. 2 big names in the middle there. Okakbare has shown that if she does start, I keep reiterating this, would have to be a brilliant start. And Ohure's next to Ohure is so good out of the blocks, that might not help Okakbare. All eyes on Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. So once more from the top, it's Gardner, Anderson of USA, Fraser-Price, Jetta, Ohure, Okakbare, Stewart and Freeman. The women's 100-meter final. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price gets a cracking start, so does Jetta alongside her, but watch this, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price has gone and Freeman, and they're gone on the far side with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price by an absolute mile. Ohure takes a silver, 10.72. Demonstration sprinting. She is the best by a long way, a really long way. Nobody could live with her today. And nobody really has been able to catch her for a while when she's on top form. She will now go down as one of the all-time greats if she wasn't already. 2 Olympic titles, 2 world titles. Ahure took the silver medal. Brilliant run from her. It was a very tight run behind that for the bronze medal. We'll sort that out for you in just a second. I suppose we all thought this would be the result, didn't we? We all thought that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce would win this. Maybe we're expecting a little bit more of a challenge from the others. They got good starts, a lot of them got good starts, to be honest. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, you were talking, Colin, I know, about her coming out of the blocks hard, and really, after about 10 metres, good start for everybody, but she just forged ahead then and was never to be headed.
She is a strong starter. We know that. She's great technically. We've seen her demonstrate that on many occasions, but we've never seen her win with such an emphatic margin. Look at the distance between her and second place. Incredible. What could she do? She was pushed. Well, one day we may find out. But I think now she'll have her eyes on doing the double, as Usain Bolt has that as a target. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, wow, 10:71, wonderful time. The Olympic champion on the right. At this stage, Carmelita Jeter was still the world champion. But look at the contrast in technique, in style, in size, in aggression. But both these women, competent when they're at their best. But today, it's all about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Drive, commitment, and demonstration of real awesome sprinting.
Fastest time in the world to boot. Carmelita Jeter hanging on for the bronze medal ahead of English Gardner. There was a blanket finish for 3rd, 4th and 5th. But they were just not even close enough, not even in sight. That's why Jeter's delighted, I think. And to be fair, given everything she's been through, that quadricep injury, she's done really well to get back and pick up a medal. Never going to head Fraser-Pryce, to be honest, but she's done well. That's why she's so happy after all she's been through. And Ahure, she couldn't be happier. Silver medal for her. The winning time, 10.71. The gold medal to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Regains her world title to go with her 2 Olympic titles as well. Muriel Ahure, a brilliant silver medal for the Ivory Coast athlete, 10.93, and Carmelita Jeter, that's a real testimony to her fortitude, coming through for the bronze, 10.94.
Well, never in doubt, I guess, when you can run like that in a final. We saw her running within herself in the heats of the semi-final, but she ran gun to tape right now and gave us a demonstration.
Yeah, she did, and I think, you know, based on the gap between her and the rest of the field, the conditions weren't great. So, you know, I think we could have seen a faster time if conditions were better. But the distance between her and the rest of the field is just unbelievable. I mean, she's doing Usain Bolt type things, not just in the fact that she's repeating as champion over and over again, but she's coming into races and just dominating so easily. I mean, this race was over at the 40-meter mark, and just as Steve said, just textbook sprinting here. Her technique is about as good as any that I've ever seen. I've never seen anyone with such perfect technique. Her stature, her build, she's very short, very powerful, which is perfect for the drive phase of the race. The first 30 meters when you come out of the blocks, if you notice, her feet are up on the blocks. And so she comes out with an extremely powerful start, and a lot of people can't do that. They can't take that type of coordination and power and quickness, put it all together in a coordinated effort for that type of ballistic speed coming out of the blocks. And that's really the advantage that Shelly-Ann Fraser has at the beginning of the race, but then the perfect, near perfect form that she then exhibits throughout the remainder of the race just can't be matched by anyone else in the business.
But she doesn't have, it's a perfect start for her size being compact. But then when the race opens up, you know, because she's so small, she doesn't have that range in her leg movement that you may get from a taller athlete.
Came here, you know, and did my best and actually won.
A wonderful, wonderful moment of many for you in your career. I'm sure there are many more to come. Thanks for talking to us. Well done.
Thank you.
We'll be able to see the back of Amantha Menshaw all the way through this, but it's Hastings have The USA shot incredibly quickly through that first 100 metres, and now Moncho just starting to shift through the gears and the back straight, and Christina Horrigu will have to try and stay in contact here. Round the top bend, and Moncho still hasn't stamped her authority on this final yet. Makarori going really well. Hastings has gone past Christina Horrigu, but it's Moncho now who comes to the fore. Christina Horrigu will start to run her down and is coming fast and is coming quick, but will it be quick enough? Doroshenko on the far side as well, but Moncho, will she get there? Christine's coming. She might just make it. She might just made it. Did she get it? Meters to go, she wasn't there. 5 meters to go, she wasn't there. 3 meters to go, she wasn't there. Did she get it? We're waiting. She's looking, we're looking. The photo finish will be the only thing that can determine this. Moncho leaning back, Horrigu leaning forward. She smiles. The two of them are pretty good friends. They know each other so well. A lot of respect. She's got it! A new national record. 49-41. Another gold medal. Christina Horrigu is the world champion again. Unbelievable race. Moncho cannot believe it.
Next week, just go to the website and watch that again and again and again. The determination on her face, Colin, when she comes down the home straight is just a picture.
And do you know what's interesting? If you look at Moncho, she's not running her race. She's running a race for Christine because she keeps glancing up at the scoreboard, watching when Christine's coming at her. And I thought to myself, this is pretty fascinating. She's waiting in a way for Christine to come at her. She glances at the scoreboard and she can see her coming, and she's like, oh,
you know she's going to come.
But if you know she's going to come, I mean, there's nothing you can do in the last 100 meters but keep running and doing exactly what she's doing. And then if you know she's coming because you're watching the screen, why wouldn't you dip at the finish line? I mean, she is going to live this. I mean, she's going to hate this moment for the rest of her life, Moncho, because she gave it. I mean, she literally gave it away.
We never see Christine like this. A range of emotions when she's won, when she's been, you know, down in the dumps, but we never see tears from her. This has meant so much.
I think she said it herself, the national record as well, to win it with a national record that has stood for so long. We saw Kathy Cook's interview with Steve earlier on, and we even said yesterday that to win this, she's probably going to have to break the national record, and I think that's part of the emotion, do you think, Colin?
When you look at the whole performance, isn't it, what Christine's achieved, and she mentioned it herself, you know, she's been Commonwealth champion, she's been Olympic champion, she's been world champion, and then to come back and win this and then take that national record, because I have no doubt that Christine held Kathy Cook way up here, and now she's...
But he didn't make to the final, so he knows it's risky, he knows what you've got to do, and at the end of the day, this is the toughest distance race of the lot, the heats of the 5,000 meters.
65. Pretty good pace early. Sensible. 10 men could theoretically go through if it was quick enough. So that's around, well, just under sort of 13:30 pace, that sort of pace. And a lot of men these days, you know, so many fast races around Europe, a lot of people running in the sort of teens, 13:10, 13:15. And that's good running. I know we get sort of sucked into all the sub-13 times, but you know, if you run 13:10 for 5,000 meters, that's not bad, is it?
It's extremely good, Steve. Actually, we nearly had a little bit of a situation on our hands. The Ethiopians, you can see, running at the back of the field. Maury Plant, our liaison officer, has just come up to the commentary box just to tell us that the Ethiopians literally arrived at the stadium just as the bus was leaving to take the athletes through to come to the track. So they haven't had any time to warm up at all. They were late getting here. They were all panicking when they got here. And the information that we got is that they nearly missed the bus that brings them from the warm-up track to the stadium. So that's a bit unfortunate. They're running at the back, and a little bit of an explanation why.
Arne Gavius of Germany now leading. First kilometre, 2:40. And he's keeping that pace going. There's a 64 lap. Talking about late at the track, didn't you get nearly locked in the toilets at the Olympics? What was that story again?
You mean when I was running? Or
yeah.
No, but I'll tell you what did happen at the Olympics. In 1972 Olympics, Mirit Shifter, who was a favourite for the event, eventually went on to win it in 1980. He was locked off the track. He was stood on the track side. He couldn't get through the security, and he watched the Olympic Games 5,000 metres from the side of the track with his kit on and his number on, and he wasn't able to run, you know. And then that was 72. In 76 they boycotted, and it wasn't until 80 when he came here he won the double of the 5 and 10,000 metres. But I had the key, Steve, for the toilet when I was a runner.
I was going to say, because you were in there, definitely, weren't you?
And we stopped talking about personal habit.
Well, pace has been pretty good here, and that's why they're sort of stretched out. And just sorting themselves out. Lagat looks nice and comfortable. Alamaru just having a glance, see who it is. Longasiwa on the inside, just being passed there. And Kipkoech just in front of them. So Zane Robertson, one of the two twins. I talked about the two of them. You know, him and his brother Jake moved to I-10, which is where they all train, and they live there now. Absolutely love it, and they've improved.
It's fantastic, actually. It really is show a commitment. And these days in distance running, there used to be an old adage you could stay and train at home. Well, those days are gone now. But this young man from New Zealand has taken it, and he's got the improvement to go with it. He knows that in I-10 in Kenya is where the best distance runners come from, and if he wants to run there, that's brilliant. Right outside him, just behind him and on the outside there, Bernard Lagat in the red vest of the United States. And Bernard Lagat is a true inspiration in this sport. He's a gentleman, he's an extremely nice guy, he shares his information, he advises people about how to improve their running all the time, and I just think this man is a great example of an international sportsman. He's a wonderful character, he's got a great attitude, and he's still, at the age of 38, Steve, still running really well. I'm not sure he's going to be as close. He's been champion of the world at 5,000 metres and at 1,500 metres. I think those days may be behind him, but he was telling me that when he ran in there's not two big 5,000 metre races in the championships, he feels as though he got his tactics wrong. My tactics, he said, used to be better when I was younger.
Funny that, isn't it? When you are fitter, you have better tactics. So I always say, it's when you're not fit, and you can't put yourself in the positions you want to, or get out of positions, to be honest, sometimes that you get yourself into.
Well, actually, what happens in distance running, don't you? You know what you're supposed to do, but then the body eventually stops being able to do it. And I think Bernard is in that position these days. But I just think it's great that he's here. Great that he's running again. Let's hope I'm completely wrong and he gets amongst the medals, as long as it wasn't in front of our man.
Yeah, he's good friends with Mo Farah. The two of them get along well. 65. That second kilometre slowed, 2:45. So Lababi of Morocco just picking it up again. Robertson of New Zealand tucked in behind him. Then Kipyego, Gabius of Germany, Kipkoech, Lagat, Alamaru. Gebri Hiwet's been right at the back, or near the back, just moving a little further up into the group. And the green of Ethiopia, 4 from the back there. He's a big danger, Brent, isn't he, Gebri Hiwet?
I think so. I think he's an outstanding athlete. I think he'll run well. But the interesting thing was, with the panic behind them, the two Ethiopians now, they set off sensibly at the back of the field, took their time, moved their way through, forgot about being late through transport, and here they are, moving through the field literally as we speak.
That's Alamaru. Lagat just moved out as he moved through. So the Moroccan leads. Alamaru on his shoulder, and his teammate just looking for a better place, but then having to let others go through. A little bit of jostling there. There's Gallant, Aloy Gallant of South Africa in the yellow. So this pace now just slowing a bit, isn't it, Brent? This is where people get a bit edgy now. They're coming around with 5 laps to go and know that there's a lot of people there still. Only 5 to go through.
5 laps to go in the first heat of the men's 5,000 metres. 8 and 9 for 3,000 metres. So it's still steady, and they can run a decent time off this. And I think a few of them have decided, and they've probably done what we've done. They've looked at the list and they said, those two Ethiopians, Alamaru and Gebri Hiwet, they're pretty good. And those two Kenyans, Kipkoech and Longasiwa, they're pretty good. Bernard Lagat, you can always count him into the final. So if we want to get amongst this today, and Gabius of Germany has decided that, as has Lababi of Morocco, then if we're going to get a run a fast time, that gives us that extra chance. And I think they've taken it by the scruff of the neck. They're still moving steadily at 64, 65 second pace, and that'll bring them along in a good qualification time. But as I said at the beginning, the hardest race in the men's and in the women's program is the heats of the 5,000 meters.
Lababi leads. Alamaru on his shoulder. Robertson on the inside for New Zealand. Kipkoech, the smaller, right in the middle there, the smaller of the Kenyans. Longasiwa behind him. Kipyeko, 18-year-old Ugandan in fourth. Just watching Gebrhiwet at the back of the group. He's not interested. He's moving around a lot. Was just seeing a little bit more pushing there as Longasiwa, Kipkoech just stepped on the inside. But you know, Gebrhiwet, now he's moving up, Brent, for the first time. Look, in the green, there he is. Wasn't interested in what was going on. He's got a lot of confidence in his kick, this young man.
Well, he's got a lot of confidence in his strength too, Steve. But he did move, he waited, got rid of the nerves, got rid of all the tension that came with that late arrival. When he comes into the finishing straight, his position, he's found the position he needs to be, and now it's a case of just beginning to hold this position. You don't want to be changing anything from here. You don't want to get surrounded by athletes, and you can see them beginning to gather momentum, beginning to crowd round one another. And once again, in the early part of the race, there's Bernard Lagat bumping into Alamaru there, and that was a little bit unnecessary, but Bernard Lagat moving wide, and they're all there. 3 laps to go, and it's now getting serious. And Bernard Lagat, a couple of times in the last 100 meters, has got himself into problems. And you know that can happen here. This is a little bit too many.
Do you know Kipyeko of Uganda and also Kipkoech, the smaller of the Kenyans, just pushing and shoving all over the place. A little bit of an experience. Kipyeko on the outside. So Lababi leads, Gebrhiwet, Longasiwa, Kipkoech, Lagat just hovering. Alamaru on the outside, good place to strike. Through 4,000. 2.5 laps to go. And somebody's going to break from here, Brendan, isn't it? Someone's going to push, someone's going to make the first big kick. And Lagat just needs to be careful here, those 38-year-old legs. He's got to find a bit of pace here, and he realizes that I've just got to get out. 2 laps to go. They're using his wise old brain there, just putting himself where he can watch, where he can see, where he can strike from.
That's exactly right, but now they're making moves. Robinson, the Australian, now giving a go, and there we saw exactly what we were talking about. Kipkoech, he's been in trouble during the race, got himself in a pickle, and there he is now. Watch him race down that back straight. He's decided he's got to get there. He should do it a bit more cautiously. This is too quick. He could pay the penalty in the last lap for that, because that's a strong action. There's another push. Robinson involved that time, but there, look at them. There's too many here, Steve. 5 to go through, and then 5 fastest losers. They had chances. 4,400 meters, 55. So they're not going to run too quick off this one now. They had the chance. The 2 Ethiopians have found themselves back in the position, and there Kipkoech is now back in a position that he really should settle now. On the shoulder of the experienced Bernard Lagat, who looks over his shoulder and sees him there. And now they come down the finishing straight, a lap to go.
Lots with chances here. The Australian Robinson leading them. Hill of the USA has now got involved. And Kipkoech absolutely all over the place. He's been in, he's been out, he's been on the ground, he's raced hard to get back in there, but he's still fighting. But it's the other Kenyan now who's just starting to struggle. But Uganda's starting to struggle with the other Kenyan, Longasiwa in the best place on the inside there. Lagat in 5th place, still with lots to do here. Only top 5 will go through. Look at Kipkoech, that big effort he made to get to the group. Looks as though has put paid to his chances as he starts to go back now. Lagat moves up on the outside. Kipkoech now away from that group. At the front, it's the 2 Ethiopians and then the 2 Americans. Look at Hill, looks comfortable. Now Longasiwa's got to find a bit of room here. These 5 just might move away, and here's the sprint, just testing each other out. And I said that Gebrhiwet loves to do this. He really thinks he's got a big kick, and there's just evidence of it there. Alamaru, Lagat, Longasiwa, Hill. So one of the Kenyans, Kip Koech, just crossing the line. I'm just watching Robertson of New Zealand, Brand. He was going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was counting what position he was. There he is, working out, am I still in the top 10? Do I still have a chance?
A little bit disappointed there, but that was a disappointing race for the young man, John Kip Koech. As I said in commentary, he panicked, he got bumped, he stumbled, and then unfortunately took its toll. Gebri Wet, comfortable there. That was an interesting run. But out of the 5 we selected, one of them didn't qualify. And there they go, 200 meters to go. Bernard Lagat, there's Kip Koech fading away. That over-exuberant lap with 600 meters to go paid its price. And there's Hill from the United States, Lagat from the United States. Longasiwa's got his position on the inside. And then the 2 Ethiopians, Gebri Wet and Alamaru. Bernard Lagat just stretching his 38-year-old legs, and that qualification, as we expected. Alamaru, Gebri Wet, Bernard Lagat, Longasiwa and Hill of the United States running really well. Gebri Wet's got a good finish. He's got a good head on his shoulders too. The 2 Ethiopians managed to control themselves after the early panic before the race. Great to see Bernard Lagat back in form. Great to see him running well. And now those 5, they've just run 5,000 meters that they didn't want to, because they just knew what we know is it's now the next step for the final.
Top 5, and then the others, they'll have to wait and see. Zane Robertson, 9th place, 30. Koech joins Soy, Farah. Watch out for Kipsir. Oh, no, Kipsir's not starting, actually. I was going to say watch out for him. Edris of Ethiopia, Galen Rupp, Ben St. Lawrence, and Jake Robertson, the twin of Zane we just saw in the first heat. Just a little bit of shadow on the far side. The temperature this morning actually not too bad. It's been much hotter here in Moscow as Soy is introduced. Zai Koech, World Youth Champion back in 2009, 5th in the Olympics last year, still just 19 years of age. Spanish record holder Bezabey next to Akhmadiv, big cheer for him. Well, I don't think we need to, Bren, do we need to talk about fastest losers?
You would hope not, wouldn't you?
Around about 27 or so, if you're not in the top 5. Well, they have a chance, don't they, athletes in this race? They know the pace that the first one went, but whether or not anybody wants to take it on early and try and guarantee a sub-13:30 pace remains to be seen. Doesn't look like it.
Well, I said to Mo the other day when I spoke to him after his fantastic performance in the 10,000 meters, and the first thing he said to me, it was really hard. It was hot, and it was a hard race. So he's got a hard race, and as soon as he finished that hard race, he met with Barry Fudge, who's part of the setup that surrounds Mo Farah when he comes to championships, and they go straight into recovery mode. Ice baths, electrolyte replacement drinks, carbohydrate drinks, because when you finish a race, Barry explained it to me, your muscles are like a sponge and you need to replace the glycogen. You need to get your supplies of protein to repair the muscles and the glycogen to get the energy back into the system. And it's as soon as you can after a race, that's the opportune time to actually get on the recovery program. And then Neil Black, who's the performance director, is also the physio. He's given Mo's legs a rub before the 10,000 and will do today. And his idea is to say, Mo, your legs are feeling better than they ever have before, even though they always feel pretty good, he said, and then you can get out and run. So Mo's confidence is boosted by Neil Black giving him the massage and saying, your legs are feeling really good, Mo. And Barry Fudge telling him that your recovery program is in fantastic position. But Mo knows, but he did say he was tired after the 10,000, And we talked last year about the Olympic Games when Mo ran the 5,000-meter heats, and he said, I find that really, really hard. And the idea, the understanding that when your body's trying to run, has to run, and you don't want it to do because you want to conserve it for the final, that makes it quite difficult. And Galen Rupp there, the loyal training partner of Mo Farah, the athlete who has been Mo's inspiration as well as his training partner. The way that both of them work together, and there he is looking over his shoulder. Come on, Mo, it's your time. Koech in between the two, and Ben St. Lawrence of Australia knows exactly what he's doing. He knows he's trying to run himself into a decent position and a decent time. 65, 64, 65-second laps, that'll do it. Just has to keep this going at this sort of pace.
So Ben St. Lawrence leading, Rupp, then Koech, Farrell, Jake Robertson, Edris on the inside, Soy. Not too quick really, but keeping them within range. .246 the first 1,000 meters. Well, first heat Bren was about 240, but it slowed in the middle, so can still get within range here. St. Lawrence doing the job that I'm sure one or two behind him will be happy to see him doing that at the front, just making it a steady pace, certainly not fast.
Well, 13:27 would put them in with a chance, and I think Ben St. Lawrence is very conscious of that. He'll be a little bit pleased that Kip Zero, the Commonwealth 5 and 10,000 meter champion, had a disappointing run in the 10,000 meters and has pulled out. And Mo into the front there, he's in amongst it today. Looks as though he might be even enjoying it. Galen Rupp calling the shots, telling him it's your turn, and Mo running along in the front. But he said the other night in the 10,000 the reason he went to the front was to slow it down. Well, let's see if he's doing the same here. He looks as though he is to me. This looks as though it's the athletes bunching together, crowding around. Koech looks over his shoulder and he's looking at his teammate Edwin Soy, saying, come on, he is slowing it down, we're not falling for that one again. And there he is, past Mo Farah, and you'll see his teammate arrive on schedule, working his way through the pack. The more experienced athlete, and young Edris, the world junior champion from Ethiopia, moves up, and they realize that Mo was trying to kid them and trying to slow them.
There's talk at one point, you know, that the Kenyans might try and make Mo run 3 hard races. You know, in the 10,000 boys would make it hard, and then in the heats of the 5,000 they'd make it hard. So he gets to the final of the 5 and he's tired. But you know, the lads in the 10,000 are going to think, well, hang on a minute, you know, I've got a race to run here. I'm not that bothered about the 5,000 final next week. And as we saw, it didn't really materialize, did it?
Well, actually, as the 10,000 meter runners were being sent off the other night, the Ethiopian team management and these guys who are running the 5,000 meters were saying to them, go and make it a hard race because he's going to be difficult for us in the 5,000 meters. Well, they didn't do much about it, and you're right, Steve. You know, it's not their problem. They're not running the 10,000, they're running the 5,000. And this team thing is beginning to kind of have a less of a concentrated effect, because the teams these athletes know each other much better than they used to. They compete against each other on the circuit. As I said the other night, in the 10,000, the only effective teamwork was being done by the training partners, Mo Farah, Galen Rupp and Dathan Ritzenheim. And once again here, the only team effect is here. Mo's been to the front to slow it down. Galen Rupp is just keeping close to Koech, the leader, keeping the position. Mo and him together, and you know, when you train together every day, and then when you come to a race in this position, when you're trying just to qualify in the first 5, there's a lot of comfort in that, you know, because you're just like, it's like a training run. It's like you're out again with your mate doing a track session.
Through 2K at 5:31. It's a few seconds slower than the first heat. 2:44 for that second kilometer. So things picking up a little bit, still comfortable though. Koech, Rupp, Farah, Edris, St. Lawrence, Soy, El Goumri on the inside. Robertson in the all black of New Zealand. 7 laps to go.
These are quite the hard laps, you know. Seven's a long way on the track. It's much easier when you look at that lap score and it's saying 2 or 3, and then you can start thinking about the finish. But these are the in-between laps, and these are the laps where the athletes who want fast times need to get involved and need to position themselves and get something going. Edris, the young man from Ethiopia, you know, if you look at the World Junior Championship, it's delivered a lot of world-class athletes over time. This may be another one. Mukhtar Edris running right next to Mo Farah. Benson Lawrence on the inside running well, and then Edwin Soy right behind Benson Lawrence, and he's the athlete who beat Mo Farah in that big race in Oregon. He's moving nicely there. And if you look at these athletes, you could pick the qualifiers. You would include Mo, obviously, and Galen Rupp.
You'd probably go that top 5 now, wouldn't you?
Actually, you might. And you know what? When you're in a race, sometimes you see the top 5 settling round together, and at the end of it, you think, I was thinking to stop the race now, then I'm qualified. But no, 6 laps to go.
Every time Mo goes to the front, causes some consternation amongst the others, and understandably, but all he ever does is go to the front and has an easy lap, slows it down. And he's doing it again. Edris on the inside, Koech and Soy right there, letting Mo Farah just bunch them all up.
Koech was signaling to Soy, pointing down to the track, getting on my outside, and let's stop him dominating the race. Because there's 2 things. One is the slow 65.4, but it wasn't quite a full lap that Mo took over. But one thing is he's slowing them down. That's to his own physical advantage. But also, when he goes to the front and dictates the race, that further establishes Mo's persona as the boss. And when you're a man in his form, all of these athletes are looking to him. He is the boss of middle distance running and long distance running these days, and they're all bowing to his superior performances. And you know what? That actually does make it a little bit easier. He's going to tell them what he wants to do. And if you take the psychological advantage in a race, that often is a big advantage. 8:14 there, so they're going to have to move some if they're going to get some qualification of this.
Yeah, Brent, they're 5 seconds down at the 3K point from the first heat, so those guys at the front, they're not bothered. It's the ones behind. Bezzebe of Spain. Ooh, is he limping? Almost looks like he is. I thought he was going to make a move there, but quickly went back inside.
Well, I thought he was going to drop out, actually, because he was limping. But Bezzebe, former Ethiopian athlete running for Spain, he was actually an athlete who had the beatings of Mo Farah a few years ago. Beat him in the European cross country. There he is, Bezzebe, and he's not quite as good as he was then, but literally when he pulled out, he's got 2 different coloured shoes on as well. That's a bit of a...
It's a fashion these days.
Oh, sorry, well, that's why I went over my head, Steve, isn't it?
Edris moving up. Farah just checks for a bit of space, moves out. 4 laps to go. The 2 Kenyans in front. Ethiopia, United States, Great Britain, Morocco on the inside. Still plenty there with an opportunity here, but somebody's got to really push on if they're to have a fastest loser spot out of that group behind the 5 big names at the front.
The 5 expected qualifiers are in the top 5 positions. Mo Farah down the back straight. He's looking over his shoulder, just checking that Galen Rupp, as you called him the other night, Steve, his wingman. Well, Mo's being his wingman. You know, Mo says, I'll help you in the heats, you help me in the final. That's a good deal, isn't it?
62, it's getting quicker. So Koech, the tall Kenyan in front, Soy and Farah, who've had their battles over the years. Edris, then Rupp. And Regassa now joining there. Little gaps appearing, so Bezzebe moving up. 6 men, just a gap to Bezzebe of Spain, with 3 to go. And you know the ones at the front, Brent, I mean, they know they can kick. You sometimes wonder why they want to wind it up so much.
Well, I think it's better to wind it up, Steve, and just run strongly over the last 3 laps than have to really sprint and dig deep on the last lap. But there's 6 of them in that group. 1 too many. Regassa has joined that group, so they've still not got the qualification in the bag. And Mo Farah down the back straight there, beginning to stretch them a little. And 5 beginning to draw away. Regassa just coming under a little bit of pressure. 1,000 meters to go, 10:52 for the 4,000 meters, so they can run under 3:30. These guys could go close to 13:20, but they don't have to. They just have to finish in the first 5. And Galen Rupp and Mo Farah becoming a more familiar sight in distance running. Mo in the lead. Galen Rupp on his shoulder, coming down the straight. Mo looks as though he's really into this race today. He looks as though he's enjoying this one more than he did the Olympic semi-final. That was his first experience of the heats in a World Championships or Olympic Games, and he found that a little bit more difficult. And I think today it looks to me as though this is a little bit easier, a little bit more comfortable, the ride. Striding out, stretching there, looking good. the great sight for British distance runners and for British distance running fans. The double Olympic champion striding out in the back straight, just over 600 meters to go. The world champion in 5,000 meters here, attempting to regain his title. But you've got to qualify first, and he's got some athletes who've beaten him before around. He's good company, and there's still 6 of them, just one too many before you can relax. Well, you know what he's going to do from here. He's going to try and control it, and he come down the finishing straight. Mo Farah, we've seen it so many times. It's such a pleasure to watch. The athlete who beat him earlier this season on his shoulder, Koech moving alongside. Galen Rupp, his teammate, trapped on the inside, but that doesn't matter because the 5, including the young Edris of Ethiopia, are now moving clear. Mo Farah stretching. Now it's a psychological battle. Don't give too much away, and if you slow down, make it obvious you've slowed down, because you don't want to show them that you're tired. And Mo Farah, the champion, running like a champion, looking into the crowd. He's not counting the crowd there, Steve, is he?
No,
he seeing who's there in the
very
back
big
straight?
screen up on the back straight. A little bit of showboating. These 5 finally clear. Ragasa, the Bahrainian, tried to hang on, couldn't quite do it. And this is where, like you said, Brent, you don't need to expend energy here. Bragging rights in the heats really don't matter. Koech, Soy, Edris. Look at Edris. Well, that's just youthful exuberance, and Soy almost says, no, you don't, but then, well, why not? Go on. And Mo Farah and Galen Rupp can jog across together. Ragasa definitely will go through. El Goumri coming through for Morocco will be close, and I think Ben St. Lawrence will be too slow. Most, if not all, of the fastest losers will come from that first semi, so no problems for Mo Farah. Easy qualification.
Well, 5 of them clear. Koech stretching with no apparent reason. Edris looking to go past Mo Farah. Mo doing enough to let everybody know that he's in complete control, looking over his shoulder, making it obvious this is an easy one. Have a look around, have a smile, have a bit chat, tell him you're not bothered. And there Edris, the world junior champion, comes through to win the heat. Soy in second place. Koech comfortably third, and Mo Farah and Galen Rupp, training partners, out for a training run. 13:20 is not bad for a training run, actually, is it?
The 5 qualifiers, I can tell you that Ragasa will go through as a fastest loser. 4 others from the first semi-final. So top 2 has just been reiterated. The fastest loser times, just to think about 3rd and 4th places from that first semi, 48.69, 48.85. And if you think that Rhys Williams here is best, personal best set this year, 48.84. So he's going to have to be, if he's not in the top 2, he's probably going to have to run a personal best. Well, he is. He's got to equal it, at the very least, and come 3rd. Well, Tinsley, Olympic silver medalist, won the London Diamond League, 47.96. Only man under 48 seconds this year, but Gordon looked so good, didn't he? Watch out for Bekric of Serbia outside him, because Bekric is a fast improving young man who impressed me in qualification. And he's outside Tinsley. The young Russian, there's a lot of cheering going on. The young Russian in lane 6, new European junior champion, just 19 years of age. He's fast finisher. That's Bekric there. He's just 22 also, so lots of good young talent. Leaford Green is inside Tinsley. I'm just trying to pick out the ones who should figure here. We've had less drama in this than we had in the women's 400 hurdles so far. Of course, one more race to come with Di Green after this. little bit of a long hold, but they got away safely, and Rees has really got to attack this out in lane 8. Kishimoto started very quickly inside him. Tinsley going well, that's Tinsley. Down the back straight now, third flight of hurdles. Tinsley's leading, Leaford Green a little further back. Beckrich is right in this, and Rhys Williams has really got to get moving here. Kishimoto of Japan is probably a couple of metres ahead of him, and will hopefully drag him round that top bend. It's Beckrich and Tinsley. Williams in about 4th or 5th at the moment, but just watch the stagger unwind here. The Serbian, big, strong Serbian is leading this. Tinsley, Olympic silver medalist, is second, and Rhys Williams a long way off at the minute. It's got to be good in the home straight. Green's got the 3rd spot. Only the top 2 go through by rights. Beckrich is ahead of Tinsley, and this Serbian is really impressing. Tinsley's trying to get ahead of him, will just manage it. Green will get 3rd. Rhys will be 4th. Not quick enough, I don't think. Well, I'm pretty sure. Well, what a race there. Tinsley, as we see Rhys Williams here, but this young Beckrich is getting better and better. He's a big old lad, Colin, isn't he?
He's huge, Steve. He's massive. He's thick, he's strong, he's aggressive. Everything you really need for this event he has. And he worked hard for this. And remember, he's only a young man. He's 22 years old, so he's going to gain more and more and more experience with higher competition. We want to see him on the circuit competing against these guys all the time, more regularly, and that will get him much better indeed. But here's Rhys Williams. He's in lane 8, and I'll be honest, it is a difficult lane to run out of, especially over the hurdles, because the hurdles are then placed differently around the track, and you may not be used to that. Hurdle 2 is slightly in a more awkward place than you'd be used to. It would be on the straight instead of being on the corner. So Rhys is handling this very well indeed, but I can imagine he'd be a little bit frustrated, because I think he'd be looking at this and saying, I'm better than the ultimate time I produced today. 49.29 is his final time, but I think he's raced very well at these championships to get to the semi-final stage, and it's about gaining experience, working hard. Remember last year he did win the European Championships, so this year he had a big breakthrough going under 49 seconds, and now I guess once you do that, it's just about competing with the big boys.
Well, he gave it everything. Turf was quick enough either, so the 2 fastest losers so far, one more to come of course, are from that first semi-final, but Tinsley, bit of a push there.
Green getting ready to go in lane 2 there. Felix Sanchez, Cisneros, Keron Clement again. It is a stack with quality, and only 2 go through automatically. Felix Sanchez, well, twice the Olympic champion, twice world champion, and he suddenly came to life in the first round. There's Omar Cisneros, won his first round heat. Very unfortunate to go out in the semi-finals of the last 2 world championships and the Olympics last year. Keron Clement, twice world champion, won it in Osaka, defended it in Berlin, Olympic silver medalist in Beijing as well. Eric Alejandro from Puerto Rico, Olympic semi-finalist. Again, one of the athletes here who might just find the pace from the middle lanes a bit too quick, as will Rasmus Madji from Estonia, just 21 years old. As for Dai Green, though, he has done every single thing possible to get here in shape and form and fitness, worthy of his title defence, but he's been constantly fighting against the current this season. A hernia operation required in March, then a very untimely calf injury. Jeffrey Gibson from the Bahamas goes in 1, Dai Green in 2, Ansart White of Jamaica in 3, Felix Sanchez in 4, Omar Cisneros of Cuba in 5, Keron Clement in 6, and Sanchez, Eric Alejandro of Puerto Rico in 7, and Rasmus Madji of Estonia in 8. The third and last semi-final of the men's 400 metres hurdles. First 2 to go through automatically to the final. Away they go. What sort of form is the veteran, the great Felix Sanchez in? He looked good in the first round, and we focus on him as he enters the back straight. Fairly even at the moment, and Dai Green living with Ansart White, the big Jamaican outside him just now. Omar Cisneros looking strong outside Felix Sanchez, and Cisneros coming round the bend, rises alongside Sanchez, side by side. Di Green, the stagger will play out and he'll come round, but it's going to have to be a strong finish, and the training, the legs might not be there. Cisneros leads. Sanchez, Kieran Clement finishing strongly. Only two to go through automatically, and Clement trying to get level with Felix Sanchez. Sanchez trying to get close to Cisneros. The Cuban takes it. Sanchez gets the second automatic place, and Kieran Clement will look for the time. Di Green down about 5th, 6th place. Clement will go through with that time of 48.21. The automatic qualifiers, Cisneros and Sanchez. Di Green, his title defence, ends with a 5th place in the semi-final. World finals, look out for Faith Kipyegon, Genzebe Dibaba, younger sister of Tirunesh Dibaba, a great athlete in her own right. And Mary Cain as well, athlete with such promise and so much attention focused on her in the United States. Nancy Langat, one of a strong Kenyan contingent. Well, there is Genzebe Dibaba, not a bad running family, a dynasty. Not only his elder sister Tirunesh Dibaba, one of the greatest of all time, but also sister of Ijegeyehu Dibaba, who won a double bronze over 5 and 10,000 in Helsinki back in 2005. Silver in Athens in the Olympics. Look out for Dibaba, look out for Kipyegon, as we said. Mary Cain. And there is Abuzanova, the Russian. And this stadium has suddenly got very lively indeed, Brendan.
Yeah, the good news is there's a big crowd, and these athletes are looking forward to running in front of them. Kipyegon, the world junior cross-country champion, moving up onto the track. She's a very accomplished young athlete. Excellent time this year, 2nd fastest in the world this year. Hilali of Morocco is going to be a bit of a danger. The 5 to qualify and the 2 fastest losers. But I think more talent in the second round, the second heat here. And as we pan back, we'll look at Dibaba. Buckman of Australia ran well in her heat, and Mary Cain, the American favourite, and on the outside of her, Langat, the Olympic champion.
On your mark.
So where they go, Kipyegon looks such a diminutive figure, just hanging at the back at the moment next to some of the bigger athletes, but she will certainly be challenging here and in the final. As Brendan was saying, 5 go through automatically, and the next 2 fastest, and being the first of the semi-finals as well, they don't know quite what pace is required, so if in doubt, go quickly.
I think that's a good policy. If in doubt, go quickly. Zoe Buckman looks keen. The Australian in the yellow vest in 2nd place behind the Albanian Geiger, and then Genzebe Dibaba, a young athlete, former world cross-country junior cross-country champion, and this time Mary Cain, the talented young American, moves up on the outside. She's much more involved in today's race than she was in the first round. And also back there, Nancy Langat, Olympic champion, Commonwealth champion, and being followed by her young teammate, the double world cross-country champion Kipyegon. So 63 for the first lap, and that's pretty good. Good pace here. Mary Cain, nice position. Genzebe Dibaba with a beautiful action, and that style and that action seems to run in this family, and she would have enjoyed the other night watching her sister become the most successful individual in the history of female athletics. Fantastic night for Ethiopia, fantastic night for the sport itself. And this young lady was really keen to run against her sister, the 5,000 meters, but the selectors said no, only the Ethiopians only be allowed to run in one race. So she's in the 1500, her sister's in the 10,000.
Yes, it is such an easy style, Dibaba, so too that of Kipyegon is just moving up nicely at the moment, and these two are the 2nd and 3rd quickest times in the world this year, behind Aregawi, who goes, as does Hannah England, in the next heat. And we talked about Mary Cain, just in the heart of the group there, and she did run perhaps tactically naively. She is still a youngster, although one of some experience in the first round heat. She can't always rely on her very strong finish.
Well, she has got a great finish. She's very involved in this race today. She's the youngest ever American in the World Championships, which is a fantastic mantle, title for her to have, you know, because they've been some great young athletes, and also in this event they've had a great young athlete. Mary Decker was a young talent like Mary Cain, and she went on to become world champion. Well, I think Mary Cain may become world champion one day, probably not in these championships. She's now got it all to do to qualify today. First 5 and 2 fastest losers, and a lot of them there as they come into the home straight. Round the bend there, and they'll see 1 lap to go, and they're jockeying for position now. They're beginning to make their move. You'd have to do that. Langat, the wise Olympic champion, on the outside, and Genzebe Dibaba, well, she's only getting 1 chance here, and this is it, the 1500 metres. Now, can she finish